Okay, go ahead and open us up because you're the one who wants to do this.
Thank you for joining us on another video here on the WiseWorks Entertainment channel. I will give
Yes.
you a heads up. This video might be entertaining and it might not be.
What?
Um, me and my brother, we do this at least 2 videos every week, and
We do.
sometimes
Yes.
it's a struggle to even plan out a time each week to record these videos. And on top of that, sometimes within our busy schedule, we also have a struggle thinking of a topic that we believe would be interesting and worthy of putting on this channel. And so we are starting this video without a clear topic or without a clear point of conversation. So I think we're just going to kind of let it roll for a little while and see where the conversations between us go, because sometimes we have pretty good conversations just on the fly, you know?
Yeah. I just thought of something that we can kind of talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Lately, YouTube has been their algorithm used to be long form content, over 10 minutes long, and it had to you had to post like consecutively on a regular basis for them to get recognition for their
Yeah.
videos. But lately, a lot of entertainers are coming out and realizing that fast paced videos around 4 minutes to 5 minutes are they're getting recognized, and that's more of what people are watching these days. So basically, the YouTube algorithm of what people are watching has changed. Do you have any
Really?
thoughts on that?
Again?
Basically, yeah. I feel
Okay,
like
this is
it's
brand new news to me.
it kind of
Brand new.
stems from David Dobrik.
Ugh.
He has videos that are 4 minutes and 20 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I'm saying he's the best videos, but just he's the one who started it, and everybody wants to copy him because he has such like shorter videos, but they're very entertaining because there's so much like they're very fast paced to
Yeah.
where you're not being entertained. You're always being entertained within those 4 minutes. It's very fast paced. It's not like you have to get to the punchline. There's only punchlines. What
Yeah.
is your thought on that?
I don't know. I feel like there has to be more than one example of to say that this is now a trend. You know what I mean? Because the trend with long form content, that was YouTube trying to figure out, okay, how can we monetize and make use of this interest that people have in this long formed content. But you can't just, post something and some people like it, maybe a few million people are liking it, and then all of a sudden say it's the new trend, you know? Um, I think people still are more inclined to long form content in general. I don't think that's just gonna pass, you know? I don't think YouTube controls the the attention span and the interest and the style of what people enjoy. Because honestly, I've enjoyed long form content my whole life. It just so happens that YouTube has recently, anyway, and still does have an algorithm that also benefits from that kind of content. So I think they just figured out what works and learn how to make money from it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I guess on top of what I'm saying, this is kind of something you're saying, but do you think YouTube controls how we consume content, like creator content, not like shows that are about 40 minutes long or
No,
videos that are about an hour and a half to 2 hours long? Um,
I don't know. I think YouTube is a direct reflection of an average of the majority of the population that of people.
yeah,
Um, and the average is still going to be confusing because there's so many people involved. Like when you make an average, you don't usually like take into consideration millions and millions and millions and millions of people. You're usually just taking into consideration, a fairly large sum, but not usually that many. So it becomes incredibly scattered and incredibly confusing when you have an average of the human population's entertainment and what we like. So I think YouTube is a reflection. I don't think YouTube controls what we like.
So what you're saying is you think a lot of people, their attention span has gone down to where they only want to watch short form content rather than long form content. I mean,
well, again,
I would agree with that. I would say that because I feel like people used to watch movies that were like 2 hours long, an hour and a half. Yes, people are still watching movies, but a lot of people, if you ask them what would they prefer, they prefer TV shows that are about 30 minutes long. And then the next episode, yeah, they might binge it, but they would like the shorter, like small video types instead of just like one form of content that's a couple hours long and then stop watching it.
I don't know. So what you're saying is you think that YouTube does, in a sense, control what people like?
Yes and no. I'm not saying that they do control, but they are going with what people are wanting. And a lot of people's attention span is getting shorter and shorter when it comes to video content or just entertainment. So they're making shorter content to kind of cater to the people that are wanting the shorter form content, the TV shows, rather than the movie.
Okay, well, here's a question, because then this brings in a whole nother thing. Do you actually think that people's attention span is getting lower? Or do you think that with YouTube specifically, the amount of younger people who do have a really fast and slower attention span, because just because you have a large percentage of kids watching things who don't have a high attention span because of their development, do you think that means people in general have a low attention span? Because I would say the opposite. I would say YouTube is a reflection, not a controlling, but also it's not a super accurate reflection because you're going to have more kids on YouTube than you're going to have adults.
Well, I feel like we're getting into another topic here, but I feel like, yes, people's attention span with smartphones, with just media, with entertainment, with everything that we're seeing these days, it's very fast paced. You're doing something like you're looking at Instagram, you're watching videos. It's very fast paced. Your phone is, you go from one thing to the next. So your attention span, I feel like, just in life right now, entertainment and just technology has trained, maybe not, and I'm very biased because we're Americans. I don't know we're very outside the U.S. or like how they consume entertainment or just technology in general. But in America, the average American, I feel like, is being trained to have a short attention span for things. That's my opinion, though.
Do you think... Okay, because then... and again, we don't have a solid topic, so we can just keep rolling down this rabbit hole because it brings up a lot of questions in my mind. Do you think that we have a more lower attention span, or do you think that we are just, through technology, training ourselves and allowing ourselves to move past a slow processing speed in our brain? You know what I mean? Like, do you think we're getting better as humans from this technology and learning to have we say a low attention span, but it also could just be a high processing brain, We're processing things faster the way computers can process things faster. Doesn't that make us as humans going upward instead of downward or staying neutral, if you view it from that perspective, and don't see it in a negative term?
No. I mean, this is also my opinion, but I feel like to learn something, to actually get quality learning in something, you have to think about it. You have to study it for a while. You have to get in your brain. So having a low attention span, I think, is a negative thing. A lot of people, I feel like, can't. There is a few people that are very smart and can retain knowledge when you just spit it at them very fast, but the average person, I feel like, can't hold that knowledge and hold the information in their brain. Once you tell them, yeah, they might be able to repeat it to you, but they won't, like, after an hour, day or two,
they're not really grasping it.
they will forget it because they're not keeping it, they're not remembering, and they're not going over it. So the fast thing, them just spitting a bunch of information at them, I feel like they're not getting the information as much.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. You have to meditate on things in order to really understand it and learn it and grow. So your argument is that people have a low attention span, so they're not actually learning stuff and they're not actually progressing in knowledge. They just have a bunch of useless information that they don't really understand.
Mm-hmm.
Because see, I think, yes, there's potential for that. So what I usually say is perspective is everything. So you have to take a mindset of saying, okay, a low attention span is good, and or a low attention span is bad, and a high attention span is good. And so what's kind of the middle ground? Because there are positives to both. Obviously, being able to carry on a conversation and interact one-on-one with someone, having a low attention span is good because it allows you to stay in the moment. It allows you to actually process and think about what the person is saying to you.
Yeah.
Having a high attention span, you get bored of things really easily. I'm sorry, I'm getting them mixed up. Having a low attention span, you get bored of things really easily, and you want to move to the next thing, and you're not really grasping, you're not really listening. But at the same time, that builds the ability for the brain to think about things quickly, and it grows your brain's ability to function at a high level. So there are mixed feelings with this topic because people talk about how kids are being screwed up by video games and technology.
Yeah.
But at the same time, aren't we also teaching these kids to learn in a world that is so heavily influenced by technology? And in doing so, they might be able to move technology even faster into greater lengths than we've ever could imagine, you know? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with that. There's some positive and negatives with this topic. I would say and I don't know all the generations, the generation that's, I guess, in like the 50s, 60s, and higher, I see it as very negative because that was not what they grew up. I feel like we deal with that all the time. People, they don't understand technology like our generation.
Well, they understand technology, but they understand a technology that was before us, you know?
Yeah.
They understand a slow moving of technology. They understand being very cautious and moving in a way that doesn't, cause too big of a wrinkle. Whereas our generation and a little bit before us is just throwing caution to the wind and saying, hey, we have capabilities to do this. What's to stop us from doing it, instead of being more cautious?
So I guess let's go back to the original topic so we don't get too far off. Short form content. Give us your opinion on what you think of shorter content. Do you listen to podcasts? We have a 20-minute podcast about average. A lot of people have like an hour and a half, 2 hours long of a podcast. Some people have shorter podcasts.
Here's something interesting. If we look at the analytics for how many views compared to how many watch time our
Yeah.
channel has, I think our videos on average have a little over 5 minutes average watch time. That in itself is telling us that the people that watch it, you guys, are not even watching the whole thing. So we have a conversation between me and my brother. Does that mean even our own current audience has a low attention span? You know what I mean?
Yeah, you guys can't keep attention span. That means you're not intelligent. I'm kidding.
No, it
I'm
does
kidding.
not.
No, I'm not insulting you. I'm kidding. I was just trying to make a joke, you know. Okay. So yeah, that's an interesting thing to bring up. Look at the analytics. If you guys let us know if you guys watch the whole thing. I mean, if you're one of the people that listen to watch the whole video, and what you think of it.
I think if you are someone who watches our videos and watches them all the way through, you're kind of an anomaly at this point. So you should definitely let us know if you're one of those people, because you might be one of the few, because I think the other people that view us are just kind of in for the ride, I guess. They're just kind of viewing haphazardly.
Mm-hmm. So I guess to close this off a little bit, let us know about shorter content. Do you consume shorter content? Do you get bored with longer form content? Do you still watch movies that are 2 hours long? Does that keep your attention span? Or do you feel like you're bored of something that's over an hour long? Let us know.
Yeah. I guess we'll end this conversation that didn't have any place where it started but turned into something.
Yes.
All right.
So,
Thank you guys for watching.
yep, and have a good day.